Can you submit an offer on a property that's already under contract? It's called a backup offer, and we're here to tell you a little bit about it. What's up, everybody? Brian K. I'm going to tell you a little bit about backup offers. Seems to be that's what the story was for me last week. We negotiated a couple of backup offers on deals. I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about it. Some people don't quite understand this process. Hopefully this brings some clarity. What is a backup offer? Okay, so the scenario is here. House number one is under contract, or a piece of property, doesn't matter. House is under contract with buyer number one. Buyer number one has a contract to purchase this property. Along comes buyer number two. Maybe buyer number two came along at the same time. They submitted two offers, and we're just going with backup offer for buyer number two. Regardless of how we get here, buyer number two makes a offer, and the sellers decide to put them in backup position. What's that mean? Okay, so we're bumping along, we do an inspection, and the buyer in number one position has the inspection. It comes back pretty typical. You're going to find an ungrounded outlet, or HVAC system needs to be cleaned, or something. At that juncture in time, the buyer has three options: choose to move forward with no changes, negotiate, or back out. If the buyer decides to back out or negotiate at some level that the sellers can't come to, then the dude sitting over here in backup position's like, sweet. Okay, so if the deal with the first buyer terminates, the backup offer slides in automatically and is in position. Now, what's it take to get that? When you're looking at a backup offer, you've already accepted offer number one, you're under contract as a seller. When you're looking at backup offers, you need to make sure that all the terms still work for you, because there's no more negotiations if the first buyer leaves. Buyer number two slides into buyer number one position. There's no negotiations, it's automatic. You notify them, but they slide over. So you negotiate the backup offer just like you would a regular offer, to make sure that your closing time frame's okay, that the offer amount is okay, that any other terms or conditions, you're leaving the refrigerator, you're taking the washer and dryer, whatever it may be. So what are the pros and cons of a backup offer? Let's look at it from a buyer standpoint. Buyers, you're in a position where you found a house, you like it, it fits it, it's got the little nook for the piano or whatever may be fitting you, it's close to the school or the grocery store that you like. So by being in backup position, if anything happens to position number one, you've already negotiated, you've already know what the seller is going to do, you slide right into position. And you get to go shopping, right? So you're not just sitting around going, well, gee, I hope the first deal terminates. That's almost kind of sadistic. You keep going shopping. Let's say you find the house that has the piano nook somewhere else, or it's close to the school or grocery store or knitting factory that you like. You can go ahead and terminate your backup offer and put an offer in on the other house that you like. Key point here is you need to terminate the backup offer, right? You don't want to be under contract to buy two houses. Buying one house is expensive enough. Okay. Downfall for buyers to be in backup position, really nothing. There's no downside to being in a backup position. Like I said, you get to go continue to shop. Positives for a seller. So we talked about that buyer number one is going to have an inspection done. And during that, they're going to find some things. If they come back to you, and let's say you're selling a $500,000 house, and they want $50,000 off because there's an ungrounded outlet in the garage, guess what? Thanks, Mr. Buyer. I really appreciate it. Hey, we've got this backup offer over here. So if you want to make us a reasonable offer, like we have the outlet fixed, happy to accommodate you. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and let you terminate this deal, and we'll let this other one slide in. So it gives you some leverage. Downfalls for a seller of having a backup offer. Ooh, this one is interesting because I really hadn't thought there was too many downfalls to a backup offer. However, I experienced a scenario recently where a backup offer, when you're technically everything should be confidential, and humans, they talk, right? So if you've got a specific scenario where people are talking outside of the contracts, it might behoove you to think twice about accepting that case by case scenario. I'm sure that there's some type of a downfall for the buyers. I just can't think of one. If you can, drop me a line down below. So backup offers really, they're not utilized enough, in my opinion. Um, they work really good in a market where, like right now, where we're low on inventory. Now, things aren't flying off the shelf. However, let's say there's just very few homes in that neighborhood or in that specific price range. You might want to put a backup offer in because you don't know when the next time a house in that specific neighborhood that you've been looking in for 3 years is going to come back on the market. So they're good ideas and they're not understood very well, and they're very powerful tools in order to help you find the right place. Hey, you guys have some questions about backup offers, feel free to drop us a line. Would love it if you guys have an opportunity to like this video, hit the subscribe button. Keep you coming back for more. These videos are going to continue to come out and educate you guys. In the meantime, I'm going to go enjoy this beautiful day. BK knows the way.